Forget the political boundaries you see on a map. 193 recognized nations? Those are just administrative lines. The real power, the true conflicts, and the future of humanity are determined by something else entirely. We're talking about civilizations. These are invisible supercommunities that unite billions of people. They don't have capital cities or written laws, but they are stronger than any single nation-state. You belong to one of them, but you probably don't even know its name. How many are there, really? 7, 9, or maybe 15? What creates this fundamental difference in worldview, culture, and ultimate purpose between you and a person on the other side of the planet? Today, we break down how language, geography, and technology shape your reality, why one of the most famous end-of-history theorists got it wrong, and which fault lines will define the wars of tomorrow. Get ready to see the world as it truly is. In 1992, American scholar Francis Fukuyama published his famous book, The End of History and the Last Man. His big idea: after the fall of the Soviet Union, the world had reached its peak form. Ideological struggle was over. All that was left was the inevitable triumph of liberal democracy and market economics. It was only a matter of time until every country joined the Western world. But the world quickly proved that the bloody history of humanity hadn't disappeared. Just 1 year later, in 1993, another American political scientist, Samuel Huntington, offered his rebuttal. In The Clash of Civilisations, he argued that global wars and confrontations were not over. They were just moving to a newer, deeper level. The battle wouldn't be between temporary political constructs like empires or superpowers, but between entire cultural worlds. According to Huntington, there are 9 such civilizations in the modern world: Western Europe, North America, Australia, New Zealand; Orthodox, primarily Russia and the Slavic world; Sinic, China, Korea, and parts of Southeast Asia; Hindu, India, and surrounding areas; Islamic, divided into Arabic, Persian, and Malay parts; Latin American, rooted in Catholic history and often authoritarian leadership; Japanese, culturally and economically distinct from China for over 2,000 years; Buddhist and African, 2 disputed, less defined civilizations. Of course, more complex models exist, listing 15 or more. But the key takeaway is that these civilizations are the foundation for why we are all so different. So, what unites people more strongly than national flags? There are 3 critical threads that weave these supercommunities together: language, geography, and tools. Thread number 1: language. Take Latin America. It's mostly Spanish-speaking, yet the perspective on the exact same historical date, October 12th, varies drastically. In Spain, it's a national holiday celebrated with a military parade. In Argentina, it's the Day of Respect for Cultural Diversity. In Venezuela, it's the Day of Indigenous Resistance. Language is not just a way to convey information. It creates unique cultural myths, shared histories, and heroes understood only by the insider. English in the Western world constantly simplifies and borrows words, making it perfect for rapid communication, commerce, clear laws, and the ultimate principle: adapt or die. The Islamic world, conversely, is unified by the sacred language of the Quran, which hasn't changed in 1,000 years, fostering rigid traditions and a centralized vertical of power. In Chinese civilization, the maintenance of complex ideograms gave rise to its famous bureaucracy and meritocracy, where power belongs to those who master the ancient written wisdom. Language shapes your thought patterns. Thread number 2: geography. Geography creates the picture around a person, their way of life. Let's look at the ancient river civilizations. Egypt, the Nile. The river's flooding was stable and predictable, and the valley was protected by the surrounding desert. This natural fortress allowed for the rise of a unified culture and a central pharaonic government. This leadership organized the people for large-scale planned works, digging canals, building dams, and in the off-season, the pyramids. Mesopotamia, Tigris, and Euphrates. The rivers were unpredictable, the land was marshy, and crop failures were common. This led to endless internal wars. Instead of a unified empire, a collection of fortified city-states arose. Survival required cunning, which fostered trade, a development of complex laws, and a spirit of competition that would later transfer into European civilization. China, the Yellow River. The river is muddy and unnavigable, but incredibly fertile and volatile. It often changed its course and flooded settlements. To control it and survive, local communities had to constantly unite, building endless dams and canals. This necessity created a culture of discipline, cohesion, and rigid hierarchy that is preserved in China today. Thread number 3. Tools, technology. Technology is the weapon and the tool that allows a civilization to dominate or survive. Central Asian nomads. They were the first to domesticate the horse, invent the saddle, the stirrup, and the composite bow. These tools created the Mongol civilization, which quickly conquered half of Eurasia. The Roman Empire. Their key invention was concrete, from the Latin meaning to grow together, harden. They used it to build aqueducts for water and the best roads in the ancient world, about 50,000 kilometers. These roads allowed the Roman army to move swiftly and decisively to punish the disobedient across their vast domain. Western civilization. At a certain point in history, a cult of progress emerged, driven by Europe's fragmentation and a burning desire for new trade routes. The West generated the largest number of breakthrough tools: banks, joint stock companies, printing presses, and most importantly, the most advanced weaponry. From rifles and Samuel Colt's revolver, God created men strong and weak, but Samuel Colt made them equal, to the Maxim machine gun. In a famous 1898 battle, a small British corps equipped with machine guns destroyed 20,000 men from a 50,000-strong Muslim army in Sudan, losing only 48 of their own. It was impossible for other civilizations to stand against such lethal Western tools. A unique feature of the West is its path to power. If you want real political influence, you must first get rich. Invent something groundbreaking, sell it, and create a massive business. In other civilizations, it's different. Entrepreneurs like Jack Ma in China are kept far from the political helm. And in the East, wealth often requires influential patrons, not just investors' money. All civilizations constantly influence one another. The West would never have developed without Arabic algebra and medicine. And the modern world is unthinkable without crops from the ancient American civilizations like potatoes, tomatoes, and cocoa. Even the colonial plantations, which produced the world's most sought-after goods like tobacco and sugar, couldn't have operated without the labor of African civilizations' people. To survive in this constantly shifting world, any civilization must maintain 4 key pillars. Management, the ability to organize millions of people to solve massive tasks, from building the Great Wall of China to sending a human into space. Communication, a common language and shared infrastructure, roads, connectivity, and railroads. Finance, a unified economic space and currency, like the US dollar, the euro, and the EU. Military power, a protective security umbrella, like NATO in the West. The future world will not have just 1 or 2 centers of power, as in the 20th century. It will have many. While the Western civilization has operated under its 4 pillars for decades, NATO, the EU, the dollar, other supercommunities are actively trying to build their own versions through military and economic blocs in Eastern Europe and Asia. Just consider this. 100 years ago, 1 in 4 people on the planet was European, which was the basis of their power. By 2050, a quarter of all humanity will live in Africa. and over half will reside in Asia. It is these growing supercommunities that hold the biggest potential, both for growth and for future conflicts. Huntington was correct. The main conflicts will happen along the fault lines between civilizations. Here they are: Kashmir, Hindu, Islamic, and Sunni; Israel and Palestine, Western and Islamic; and the Balkans, Orthodox, Western, and Islamic. These hotspots are like volcanoes on the edges of tectonic plates, constantly shifting. How violently they erupt will depend entirely on whether these great civilizations can find common ground and learn to negotiate despite their fundamental differences. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the future. Gary was right. Here we explore how the world works and the key events that shape our reality. Subscribe so you don't miss videos that not only inspire, but also help you think bigger and act smarter.